To be honest, I am not the biggest fan of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Bruh, I didn't even get an opinion out. Alright, jokes aside, this is a topical show. Whether you know about the Tatiana Maslany drama right now, whether you know about her beliefs and her ideals and anything regarding Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool Wolverine, we are not exactly here to talk about today, and I'm going to be fair and not let any of that sway my opinions on this show. When this show came out, I actually thought it was okay. I didn't really. My biggest takeaways were this, alright, and we'll go in deeper. But for those who are already disliking the video and preparing to call me a sexist because I dislike something with a woman in it, I thought the writing was a little clunky, and I thought a lot of episodes. I waited week by week for these episodes, and each episode didn't really add anything to the show or the greater Marvel universe. And once the show ended, I was like, okay. Can't wait for Black Panther. And that was kind of it. And it sucks because I was kind of excited. I was hoping for a really cool, fun lawyer show and getting to see Daredevil back again. Getting to see something about the Hulk. This is the first time we've had a project about the Hulk since 2008. But yeah, it didn't really resonate with me. It didn't really speak to me. And it's not for everyone. But there are people in the world who I believe love the show, and kudos to them. I don't hate the show, like I said. It's very incohesive and all over the place. But I'll of course go into that. First things first, we're going to get out of the way. We're going to talk about the scene. No, not that one. No. The scene where Jen, the cat call, and I can control my anger far better than you scene. And I already know, oh, you hate that scene because you're a man and you can't let women have... No, shut up. I don't like it because she's talking to the Hulk. She's talking, about... She mentions, I control my anger because I have to live with people telling me how to do my job daily. And she's telling that to a guy whose entire life has been hell-bent on controlling his anger, otherwise people will die. People will get murdered if he doesn't control his anger. So, I think that's a little crazy, but again, whatever. Just little iffy line. But my biggest problem, though, is the show doesn't know what to do with Jen. What is her arc in this show? Legit. What is her arc? I asked my buddy, I'm like, yo, do you, what is Jen's arc in She-Hulk? And they were like, well, maybe Marvel just doesn't know how to write women, and that's the problem. I'm like, yes. Marvel has never, ever, 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 ever written an interesting, conveyed, or developed female character ever. Here's my thing, right? Episode 1, we have Jen getting her powers, and she explains to Bruce, no, I have to get back to my lawyer life and my lifestyle, a life that I've developed all my life for, and I've gone to school for, paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for. I need to go back to that. And Bruce is like, dude, you're a Hulk now. People are going to look at you like a monster. People are going to treat you like a freak, and you're going to be on the run for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's correct. On both ends, both characters are right. Jen has spent her entire life, learning how to do this, doing her job, and becoming a great lawyer. And the Hulk has spent his entire life on the run, hunted by the government, a raging, brute, green monster. All of that's very true, and we don't see any development on that or Jen as a Hulk, other than her wanting to take on the name She-Hulk, until the penultimate episode, after Daredevil, where she rages, goes berserk, and then gets locked up in the finale. But none of that matters because it's retconned via her fourth wall break. But look, Kevin Feige! It's really it could just be a me thing, but for the show to, act like a Scream thing, and be like, no, we're talking about the things we're making fun of while also doing the things we make fun of, you know, being meta. I don't think that makes the show special. I think that shoots the show's foot with its own gun. Because this finale spends its entire time building arcs of Abomination, the villain. Hulk hasn't been in the show at all. And then Jen literally has like an existential moment as a Hulk, and she breaks the fourth wall, like in the comics, and, you know, reroutes it. I know people who eventually, if this channel grows, will be like, well, you didn't like Thor Love and Thunder because it didn't follow the comics. Why don't you like this? Because this show thinks it's smart by explaining the flaws of the MCU, rather than doing something different and unique to improve on the dour thoughts we already have on the MCU. That's why a lot of the stuff you're seeing on the Disney Plus panels she's breaking into, even Thor the Dark World, are a lot more developed and a lot more cohesive than this show. Like, if this was the third episode and Jen broke the fourth wall and changed the course of her show to make it more about her, and she said, no, I'm going to rewrite the whole MCU idea, and we're going to change the fact that I'm a rage monster. We're going to make me sentient the way Hulk is. People would have been upset, but then you could have your fun episodes afterwards. I feel like if you just flipped the episodes around and you watched them in a certain order, it'd be a lot better, honestly. I just really... It 100% comes from the plot not knowing, like, where to go. The show has no, like, set direction. It has no overarching story. It has no fulfillment. It's just it's almost like an anthology series at some points. Like, in a sense, where it's like each episode is a different story, but somehow it all connects in the greater picture. And it drives me crazy. It honestly, it's day 2 of recording this, and I'm still trying to figure out how to say, like, these thoughts. I think I'm cooking, but this next idea, we'll see how it goes. A lot of people seem to be upset over, well, She-Hulk twerked in the show, and people were upset. Deadpool danced in the intro of his movie, and people are okay with it. There's layers to it. As I've been saying this entire video, I have no reason to like She-Hulk as a character. The show hasn't given me a reason yet, other than she wants to get back to her lawyer job. Even then, the job isn't really working out for her. Deadpool, we've had a relationship with for almost 10 years. And in the beginning of Deadpool and Wolverine, he is desecrating a sacred grave. And I say sacred because it's the body of Logan. Logan is one of the most notorious, like, everyone is like, oh, Logan's a masterpiece, 10 out of 10, greatest movie of all time, greatest comic book movie of all time. And I'm up there too. I love Logan. Logan's a baller movie, and I love Wolverine as a character, and Logan is the send-off of, like, almost 20 years of performance for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So for Deadpool to come in and start dancing to In Sync while desecrating a body and killing all these people, yeah, that's Deadpool. Because, one, he has a relationship with Logan. He has, like, he's been building up Logan in every movie. If you watch every Deadpool movie, he says the words Wolverine or Logan. He's cracking fun. And it feels like really nice foreshadowing when you watch Deadpool 3. So no, I don't think it's the same. Because all we get in this show is she twerks with Megan Thee Stallion. Why? Here, I'll play the scene. Go for it.
Hi, there's my new favorite client. Just your signature there. And then just initial. Good. And initials up here. Way more fun than my last lawyer. I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Dial it back.
Yeah, I don't see... Okay, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna just be real and pray. It's dumb. It's dumb. This is like take 5 of me trying to explain this without trying... Every time I say a sentence, I'm like, you're mansplaining. This is crazy. I I think it's random. I think it's out of place because Jen in the entire show up until this point has never piqued an interest with Megan Thee Stallion. So, to me, as a fan who doesn't know who Megan... I don't know anything about Megan Thee Stallion. I know she's, like, a music artist, and that's all I know. To me, it's as if, like, you had a Stan Lee cameo, and, like, a character's like, oh my gosh, I love you! And then they start hitting the stanky leg. Like, that's what it feels like to me, because there's no... Like, this is completely random. Jen knows who Megan Thee Stallion is. Jen is a fan of Megan Thee Stallion, and then takes her on as a client, and then they twerk 5 seconds later, and it's like, that's random. Like, nowhere in the show have they talked about how Jen is a fan of Megan Thee Stallion, and if you have joked about it early on and conveyed, like, hey, Jen loves Megan Thee Stallion. Like, when her and Bruce are driving in the car when the accident happens early on, if they were listening to, like, Megan Thee Stallion, and Jen was like, oh, I love this song, and Bruce was like, huh, and then they're, like, eating Cheetos and whatnot, then, yeah. And then, or at the bar, when they're fixing the bar and they have Megan Thee Stallion playing, you would have shown Jen's interest in Megan Thee Stallion and how she would kill for her and how much she loves her, but instead it's just like, oh, cool, got it, random, okay. Like, it hasn't, for me, it has nothing to do with the fact that she is twerking. It has nothing to do with the fact that the CGI is iffy. It has nothing to do with the fact that Megan Thee Stallion is in the scene at all. It's just random, and it's kind of just like, why? So yeah, the twerking scene, whatever, it happened, it exists, it's canon, and I don't think that matters. It's not a big deal. Like, it's completely random, has no take on the story. It's not like Jen the next episode is like, man, I can't believe I twerked with Megan Thee Stallion. Do you remember that? And people are like, what? I didn't watch the post-credit scene. And they go back and they see it and they're like, what? No way! Like, it doesn't matter! Just like the Captain America's a Virgin thing. All it is an unanswered question. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, my biggest issues with the show. Todd as a villain, I get what they're trying to do. It doesn't offend me. He's an incel Redditor who wants the power for himself and he hates women. I get it. I get your premise. Cool. But the show doesn't build on that. The show continues to talk about intelligentsia and this subreddit that wants Jen dead. Which, sure, have that be a plot, but Todd is established throughout the show as like an incel who has an interest in She-Hulk. And he's like, you're a specimen. So yeah, there is character depth to him, but it's played off as a joke. And I know it's like, trying to be like, what? You're Hulk Kid? No! But, yeah, it's just dumb, honestly. That's like, here, we'll bring up Deadpool again. That's like if Mr. Paradox, right, was like a jokester the entire time. He's like, ooh, I love you, Deadpool. You and I can rule the multiverse, but you have to do some things for me. And he sends Deadpool on a hunt to kill all these people, and then in the end he's like, hi, I'm bombing your universe! And then he's like, I've been the villain the whole time! That wouldn't have worked, because he's not the villain. Like, he's an antagonist, but the villain is Cassandra Nova, who is an interesting character, may I add. Juan. Juan is fun. They kind of, not dumbed him down, but they gave him a comedic edge, same with Abomination and Daredevil. I don't hate that. I just, it makes sense for the world of this show, because this show was based on being a comedy. The difference between this and Thor: Love and Thunder is, like, there's no... Like, when this show wants to be serious, it'll be serious. And Thor: Love and Thunder just can't take itself seriously. That's kind of thing. Which, props to this show for being able to do. But yeah, Daredevil, I think... I like and dislike that they didn't give him a moment to shine. Like, he has moments of being really cool, but they kind of... I'll use Gen Z terms. They kind of edge you into, like, oh, he's gonna have a hallway fight! And then Jen comes crashing and it's like, oh, haha, oh, Jen... And it's like, dang, I would have really loved to see a hallway fight. Oh well, Daredevil has some pretty cool moments in the show. Sorry, in his episode. But yeah, I don't care for Abomination's change. the kind of thing is like he's meant to always be a monster. He's always meant to be the Abomination. If they would have said, instead of him being able to turn into a meal, right? They could have just been like, no, it could have been I got it. It could have been a story on, well, why does Hulk get to go and walk about, be in a Denny's and eat a million eggs? Why can he do that, but I can't? Like, he gets to roam around as a sentient monster, but I can't. And you could have had, like, an actual story about that. Then you could have had something with Hulk, but I know Hulk is on his own journey, and this isn't Hulk's show, but if you're not able to include something that makes sense, then don't do it. They didn't ruin Abomination's arc, it's just I would kind of like him to prefer to stay as the Abomination and not Emil, because that's kind of what the Incredible Hulk alluded to, is like he has bones popping out of him, he has fins. Like, how is he able to change that back? That's weird. But alas, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't at all. Jen's friends are pretty fun. Nikki and Pug, I think his name is. Pug is very Ken-coded. I'm gonna go with, like, Simu Liu Ken from the Barbie movie coded, where he's just, like, he's just a fun guy. Oh no, he's like, whoever plays the 15th Doctor, Ken, or the guy that's Gravik in Secret Invasion. He's very them Ken-coded, where he's just like, he's great. Nikki's fun. There's a lot of references to Wolverine in this. That's probably because they cut her fighting Wolverine in Deadpool Wolverine, and it was going to be something developed, which is crazy, because this show barely did that, in my opinion. But yeah. Not a fan of the Tatiana Maslany drama. Not a fan of a lot of the stuff. I am understanding of the sides going all around. It's just a thing of, like, you know, it's crazy, and I think the internet is crazy, but I did it. I finally did it. I talked about this show. Jeez, it was hard. It was so hard. In my review on October 16th, 2022, on my Letterboxd account, look at me filling the stereotype, I said this show isn't for everybody, and absolutely. This show wasn't made for a select group of people, but this show was also made to offend a group of people. So, I don't know, but it's also trying to be fun and meta. It's like, if you get offended by this show, you're part of the problem. It's like, no, if I don't care about a character in the show, that doesn't mean I'm offended. It just means the show failed to interest me the entire time. But I watched the show week by week. I give it, honestly, like a 3 or 4 out of 10. If they ever make a steelbook for it, I absolutely will buy it to fit the collection, and I will rewatch the show again eventually, because it is part of the MCU. It is just 100% a factor of, like, this show isn't for me, and it feels extremely out of place in the greater MCU, especially with, like, the multiverse saga, and, like, all it is just to introduce Jen and Daredevil into the MCU, and Daredevil again, and introduce all these characters and stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, if She-Hulk's not going to come back to the MCU, then that sucks, and that's a shame, because I do really like She-Hulk as a character. 100%. I love She-Hulk as a character. It's a great concept. She's fun in the comics. She's bombastic, and she's got an amazing personality. But yeah, it would be an ultimate shame if we'll never get, not a proper She-Hulk, but, like, the She-Hulk from the comics. Like, yes, she does comic things in this show, but that doesn't make her the She-Hulk that people know and love. But, again, like I said, Tatiana Maslany has a great personality, and she adds a lot of charm to She-Hulk, though I don't agree with the actress in real life. Kind of a blame the artist, not the art situation. But yeah, that is She-Hulk. Jeez, it was really hard. It was really hard to do this. Mostly because, like, you can't say anything about this show without, like, having a problem, which sucks. But yeah, the next reveal I do, whenever I do, like, another thing, it's not gonna be like this. It's probably gonna be a lot crazier, and yeah, it took me 2 days to make this video, so hopefully it does well, and hopefully you guys agree with it. But yeah, I really think this show is just plain bad, and it's, you know, it's got its moments, and I do favor it, but it's like another, it's like an Acolyte situation, you know, where it's like, as episodes go on, you're like, ooh, and then you get your episode 5 or your Daredevil episode, and you're like, yay! And then you get your finale, and you're like, huh? Very much like that. But yeah, dragging this out a lot. Peace out. Subscribe. Not many of you do that. And yeah, talk to you all next time.